Hi, Trevor. I wanted to just respond via video because I think that that's nice. And also, I thought it would make you and your sister feel more comfortable if you could see, what somebody looks like post HSCT. So you see my hair is super short. I lost it all. But it's growing back. And I want to caution, I'm going to show you my great results from HSCT. You're going to see in a second. I am kind of the poster child for how successful the treatment can be. I was diagnosed and I had it 3 months later. So part of my results are that, but my friend Nikki Stevens, who you can see on the group and on Facebook, she and I are super close. We found each other on the internet, and she was at EDSS of 5. We were talking, and I was like, "There's no way I'm not gonna live with MS if there's this treatment available." And she was like, "I'm going to." She went to Moscow 2 months after me, and she's doing great. She's had tons of improvements. She's had some improvements I have not had, and she has an EDSS. She was an EDSS of 5. So, and I felt like maybe I could pass more information this way. So first, just to show you how well I'm doing. Okay, I'm at the gym. I mean, I'm jumping. I'm everything. Sorry that I'm wearing my PJs. So before HSCT, and I'm not doing this in any way to make fun of anyone that is walking like this. I just want to show you how I was walking. It was something like, really hard. So I was hard for me to stand for even more than a few seconds. Now I'm, these are my feet. Doot, 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 doot. I pretty much have kind of business as usual with my limbs, which is great. And in terms of parents, that's a really common reaction for parents to just be like, Mexico, or, outside America. I think what would help convince them, they can read the comments. That's wonderful. What might even be more successful is if you give them the articles I sent you. There was the BBC one, the CNN one. Now remember, and there's the one in multiple sclerosis. That magazine. Those three. I mean, those are such reputable sources that are citing a university-wide study. Done like a longitudinal study done over 10 years. So that's the gold standard in medicine. And in medicine and science, you always expect what we have is treatment progressing. Usually there's a leap every 10 years or something. And HSCT is that leap. That was that leap from DMDs. And your sister's been on DMDs. So we, those are not drugs that are able or even designed to halt MS. They're designed to slow down the train. It's like you're tied to railroad tracks, and there's a button to slow down the train that's going to run you over, and a button to stop the train. So DMDs is the button to slow down the train, but it's going to run you over, and then HSCT is the button to stop the train. I would proceed even if the parents are hesitant, and I'm sure they will feel much better if they can talk to more people that have had it, read more about it. Mexico is great. After I first tried to get in with Dr. Burt. Now I was kind of the opposite space as your sister. I was too newly diagnosed to be accepted. He wanted me, or he didn't want me to, but his study calls for all participants to have failed at least 2 DMDs first. So it was sort of like, let's get you sicker first and then cure you so you can fit into the trial criteria. So it was just a bad fit anyway. I was denied, but so I was thinking right away about 3 other options: Israel, Mexico, and Moscow. Moscow's terrific. They're so terrific, and they will evaluate your EDSS themselves. I sort of think you should try to get in both, and not, just full disclosure. I think maybe you should not say what her EDSS is, because everyone evaluates it differently, and once they take you, they take you. But Mexico is also just wonderful too. So if that's just simpler and more straightforward, but I got a date months before my sister, who is an MD, was comfortable with this. She was not. she really wasn't very, even though she was an MD, she was not well read in it. My mother, the scientist, and I were super well read and we were reading everything. And so she was kind of just parroting what other doctors around her were saying, which was that, oh, it's really new. Oh, it's, I mean, gosh, she would never say that now. Nobody who knew me before, I was on the maximum dose. Before I got HSCT, I was on the maximum dose of painkillers. I actually threw out, I wish I had pictures to show you. I actually threw out a bag of 15 full bottles of medication because I'm not on any meds now except for I'm on a cyclovir, which is just an antiviral, and I'm only going to take it for another 3 months just to make sure I don't get sick from, I have 2 little kids. That's their bunk bed over there. Just so I wouldn't catch things from them, which, so you have these things of like, the first, especially the first 3 months, but the first 6 months post HSCT, and I'm days away from getting to 6 months, which is kind of exciting. You are worried about colds and coughs. This is a minor, this is the secondary concern, to the fact that MS is clearly, ravaging her body. I'm so sorry to say it that way. It's probably accurate though. And anyone who sees me now wouldn't believe how sick I was. I was living in bed. I was just in so much pain. Even though I was newly diagnosed, I'd had this for years. It was just that doctors didn't know what was going on with me. So it is just, I just felt like it would be nice for her to see just how well I'm doing. I mean, I literally just go around my whole day and no one can guarantee these kind of results. But the good news is 60% of people, from the studies, 60% of people that have progressive, the state that your sister's in, are having their disease halted. Now, one thing we found among those of us who have gotten HSCT in the group is that the longer you've had damage, the longer it takes for it to come back. So, for instance, I had lost feeling in my hands about 3 months before HSCT, and my hands were in a lot of pain. I have to call my mom and just be like, please come over and massage my hands, because they just hurt so much all the time. It's so amazing. I just it's hard to recreate that pain in my mind. It was awful though. I got that back immediately. Day 2 of chemo, I had normal feeling in my hands. It was just like this wonderful, experience of being in the hospital bed, getting chemo and being like, oh my gosh, I'm no longer in pain. I kind of joke with my family that chemo is a very undersold drug, in the sense that it was just so helpful to me. I'm going to end the video because I'm worried that it's going to be too long for me to send it, but I'll make a second one, okay? So.